Welcome to AudiVation. Today, we will discuss an amazing book, Why Men Love Bitches. Let me tell you a story. A story that starts with a question most women have asked themselves at some point in life. Why do men seem to gravitate towards women who are strong, independent, and unapologetically themselves? That's the heart of Sherry Argov's eye-opening book, Why Men Love Bitches. But before we dive into this journey, let's clarify something. The word bitch here isn't used in its negative, demeaning sense. Instead, it's a term of empowerment, a celebration of women who know their worth, set boundaries, and refuse to settle for less than they deserve. This book is not just a guide, it's a wake-up call. Imagine you're sitting with a close friend, someone who has been through heartbreak after heartbreak, always asking, "What did I do wrong? Why does he pull away?" You hand her this book and say, "Read this. It's not you. It's the way you've been taught to give too much of yourself." That's what this book feels like, a tough love conversation from a friend who's been there and figured out the game. The book opens with a striking truth. Society often conditions women to believe that being overly accommodating, self-sacrificing, and bending over backward for a man will earn his love and loyalty. But Argov flips the script. She shows us that this approach doesn't inspire love, it inspires complacency. She writes, "The nice girl gives too much of herself in an attempt to win a man's approval, but the bitch gives him space to miss her and appreciate her." Let that sink in for a moment. It's not about being mean or dismissive. It's about valuing yourself enough to let others value you. One of the most powerful lessons in this book is about setting boundaries. Think about how often we, as women, say yes when we want to say no, or tolerate behavior that chips away at our self-esteem because we're afraid of losing someone. Argov challenges this mindset head-on. She says, "Truly powerful women don't explain themselves. They don't beg for love. They don't chase. They attract." This is where the book becomes more than just a relationship guide. It becomes a manifesto for self-respect. Imagine a woman who constantly cancels her plans to be available for her partner, who bends her schedule to accommodate his whims, who forgives unacceptable behavior without holding him accountable. Now, imagine another woman who values her time, keeps her commitments, and isn't afraid to walk away when she's disrespected. Which one commands respect? Which one inspires admiration? Argov shows us that being the second woman, the woman who prioritizes herself, isn't just more attractive, it's more fulfilling. Let's talk about the emotional core of this book. It's not just about changing how men perceive you, it's about changing how you perceive yourself. Argov tells us that the way we allow others to treat us is a direct reflection of how we treat ourselves. She writes, "Act like a prize, and you'll turn him into a believer. Act like a doormat, and he'll step on you." These words hit hard because they're true. How many times have we dimmed our light, thinking it would make someone else shine brighter? How many times have we accepted crumbs, hoping they'd turn into a feast? Argov doesn't just tell us to change, she shows us how. Through relatable anecdotes and practical advice, she guides us to reclaim our power. For instance, she emphasizes the importance of maintaining your own life. The moment a woman makes a man her entire world, he starts to feel suffocated, she writes. Men are drawn to women who have their own passions, their own goals, their own lives. Think about that for a second. When you're fully immersed in your own happiness, your energy becomes magnetic. You're not chasing love, you're radiating it. Here's where the book takes an emotional turn. Argov doesn't shy away from acknowledging the pain that comes with change. Walking away from toxic patterns is hard. Standing up for yourself can feel lonely. but she reminds us that the reward is worth it. She says, "A woman who is confident in her worth will always be more attractive than a woman who is desperate for validation." This isn't just about relationships, it's about life. It's about recognizing that you are enough, just as you are. The book also explores the dynamics of power in relationships. Argov explains that power doesn't come from manipulation or control. It comes from self-assurance. She writes, "The bitch doesn't try to win a man over by proving how much she can give. She wins him over by proving how much she won't settle for." This lesson resonates deeply because it's not just about romantic love. It's about every interaction we have. It's about teaching people how to treat us by showing them how we treat ourselves. Argov sprinkles the book with humor, making even the toughest truths easier to digest. She shares anecdotes of women who've transformed their lives by embracing the bitch mindset. Women who stopped apologizing for their standards, who started saying no without guilt, who let go of the fear of being alone. These stories remind us that we're not alone in our struggles, and that change is possible for anyone willing to take the leap. One of the most inspiring quotes in the book is, "You have to be willing to lose a man to keep him." It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But think about it. When you're willing to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you, you're showing the world and yourself that you're not afraid to stand alone. And that kind of courage is irresistible. Let's bring this back to the bigger picture. While Why Men Love Bitches is framed around romantic relationships, its lessons apply to every aspect of life. It's about taking control of your narrative, owning your power, and refusing to settle for anything less than you deserve. It's about understanding that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's approval. And it's about realizing that the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. In this book, Sherry Argov says, "The biggest mistake women make in relationships is thinking that by giving more, they will get more." We live in a world where being nice is often mistaken for being weak, where saying yes is praised more than standing firm in a no, and where the fear of being unloved forces people to shrink themselves. This conditioning is especially true for women in relationships. They are taught that love is about sacrifice, about compromise at all costs, about proving worthiness through selflessness. But Sherry Argov's Why Men Love Bitches challenges this idea at its core. And while the title might seem provocative, the message is simple yet powerful. Confidence is magnetic, self-respect is irresistible, and self-worth is the foundation of not just romantic success, but of a fulfilling life. This book is not just about relationships, it's about choosing yourself first, unapologetically. And that is a lesson everyone needs, whether in love, career, or personal growth. From childhood, women are conditioned to be nice. They are taught that being agreeable, nurturing, and accommodating will bring them love and approval. They are told that good things come to those who wait, who give endlessly, who expect nothing in return. But here's the truth. The more you chase approval, the more you lose yourself. When a woman doesn't feel good about herself, she will often settle for less. The nice girl believes that love is something she has to earn. She gives more, hopes more, and waits for the day her effort will be rewarded. But reality is different. When you give too much, without boundaries, without self-respect, you teach people to expect that from you. The more available you are, the less valuable you seem. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding that love and respect should be mutual, not a transaction where one person gives endlessly while the other takes. One of the most important lessons from this book is that attraction is not about how much you do for someone. It's about how much you value yourself. People respect those who respect themselves. When you set boundaries, you show the world that you have standards. And here's the real magic. The moment you start enforcing your boundaries, you start attracting people who respect them. This applies to love, to work, to friendships. Imagine you have a friend who only calls you when they need something. You always say yes, always rearrange your schedule, always prioritize their needs. Over time, what happens? They start taking you for granted. But if one day you say, "I'm busy," or "I can't help you this time," suddenly they wake up. They realize your time is valuable, that your presence is not a given. It's a privilege. This is exactly what happens in relationships. When you prioritize yourself, your goals, your happiness, you become someone worth valuing. And those who do not respect that? They were never worthy of your time to begin with. There's a powerful moment in the book where Argov explains that the most attractive trait in a person is not beauty, not charm, not even kindness. It's emotional independence. People who are emotionally independent do not need others to complete them. They do not beg for love, they do not tolerate mistreatment, and they do not wait around for someone else to validate them. So, the next time you find yourself questioning your worth, pick up this book and let it remind you of the truth. You are enough. Always have been. Always will be. Learn to enjoy your own company, to chase your own dreams, to build a life that excites you, whether someone is by your side or not. Stay well, my friend.